the lean canvas model. And so I hope that today we can go through an exercise where at least the kind of the three core things, the problem and the solution, that you can work on it through this session, and you have a chance to actually pitch that problem and solution to your neighbours and get some feedback. So is it clear? Is it something, you probably have heard of the elevator pitch. So your problem and solution should be the essence of your elevator pitch. What are you trying to solve, and how are you going to solve it? So I hope that we'll go through all the kind of components of the lean startup, but as our kind of interactive activity today, I hope that you guys can write down and crystallize your problem solution and actually pitch it to the group and get some feedback. And please, I want this to be interactive, so stop me, ask questions as we go along, okay? So the problem, and a big part of the problem statement then is who is a problem for? So understanding your customer segments, that is kind of the middle link between your problem and the solution. Who is having the problem, and how does your solution solve that problem for those customers? So understanding your customer section, that's like the meat in the sandwich in this. So hopefully we'll go through those three kind of key areas today. So the problem statement is kind of the pain point. What are you trying to solve that hasn't been solved today, or what can you do that maybe there are solutions out there, or there's problems, the problem is already evident, but it might not be addressed in a way that you think you can have a better take on what the problem is. So the problem has to be something that's painful. So, or you have to sell it and convince people that this is a painful problem. So what I mean by that is, how is it an essential thing? How is it something that's not a good to have? You might have heard people describe it as, is it Panadol or is it a vitamin? So Panadol is something, when you have a headache, you want a quick, it's such a big problem that you'll pay someone to solve it. It's causing you pain, it's causing you discomfort. So a good way of framing the problem to show that it's urgent and it's important is to describe it as a pain point. So how is it a pain point? So think about, say you have a company. The pain point might be they're losing X amount of money because of this problem. So when you're trying to phrase your problem, try and make it as serious as possible. It has to be factual, but you have to frame it in a way that is as serious as possible and that is measurable, that is tangible. So how can you quantify? Think of ways that you can quantify the problem. So the second point is about your customer segment. So your customer can be your eventual customer can be. A lot of people say the customer is the Australian market or the Chinese market or the international market. So that might be your endpoint. You might want to become Facebook and used by everyone in the end. But as a startup, you need to be able to divide your customer segment into steps. So it's like an iceberg. You need to start with like the obvious segment first. So customized segmentation is about narrowing down the focus of your first product. So once we've identified what the pain point is, how you're addressing it for a certain customer group, then it's kind of how is your product or service, your startup, the unique, special solution to it. And so when we're framing our solution, it's all about linking it to the problem statement and the customer segment. So it's great to have a solution, but if there are no customers for it, or the problem is not big enough, then you don't have a viable commercial product. So those three things, it's like a triangle. Those are the three most important things that you have to think about when you're coming up with your business model. And part of looking and explaining your solution is understanding the competitive landscape. So there are very few ideas that are absolutely 100% unique. Even if you think about some of the most successful startups out there, if you think of Apple, Facebook, they were not the first solution out there trying to address that problem. If you think about Facebook, I don't know if any of you remember Friendster or other solutions where there were social communities. So Facebook was not the first app or the first solution that connected people socially. So just because you are not the very first or the only solution out there doesn't mean your startup isn't viable. Why did Facebook? There are many reasons why Facebook has replaced Friendster or other social apps out there. Apple as well. There's nothing in terms of product and solution. There are many other providers of smartphones, many other providers of computers. So just because your solution is not absolutely unique and you're the only one in the world that is solving that, doesn't mean that you cannot be successful. But your solution has to have a difference, an edge, compared to how other people are solving the problem. So your aim as a founder is defining that edge. Why are you different? Why are you special? But to understand that, you also have to understand what are your competitors out there, and to be honest with yourself and see, are they someone that I can overtake? And is this viable to compete against them? What are the risks and rewards of competing against them? So it might be you decide to pick a different customer segment because their solution might be only for very high-end customers, and you're going to compete based on price and volume, and so you're going to target a different customer segment, but your solution may be very similar. So this is what you should be considering when you're doing your solution. So I am going to stop there for a minute and get you guys to go through the exercise of defining your problem, customer segment, and solution, and then to pitch to each other. The problem, the solution, why are you in the best place to deliver that solution? What's unique about your solution, your product or service, or you as a person, as a founder? So part of the credibility of you as a founder and why people will back you, you'll hear a lot of investors say they're not backing the product, they're backing you as a team, as a founder. So part of your unique value proposition may be, I've got a PhD in AI, that's why my AI solution will be the best. I've worked in this industry for many years, or I have a lot of contact in that space. So your unique value proposition is a combination of both your product type and also you as an individual, as a founder. What is unique about you? What is special about you? Then everything crystallizes to how you're going to make money. Even a non-profit has to be financially sustainable, right? So your revenue streams, where is the money coming from? Is it, you might have heard of angel investment or venture capital. That is where you get outside investors who will get equity in your company in exchange for a certain amount of monetary investment and maybe also advice or strategic assistance. Other revenue streams are from sales of your product. This is something that a lot of founders don't really think about because everyone's trying to pitch for money. One thing is, if your product generates revenue, that is a revenue stream. Once you understand your customer base, it's the thing about channels is how do you acquire those customers in these various segments. So channels is also tied in with your marketing strategy. So how are you going to promote your product? How do people know that your product and your service exists? And for different customers, there might be different channels. And then finally, once you know all that, there's your cost structure. So it's great to be generating revenue, but how you're profitable is you need to know what it's going to cost. Like, and cost structure could be many founders don't pay themselves initially, but that can't go on forever. So you're going to have to start thinking about how you pay yourself, your team, if you use outside contractors, if you're doing hardware or something that requires resources, that is going to cost money. So you need to think about inventory management, lines of credit, how are you going to keep your cash flow, etc. As soon as you know where your revenue streams are, you need to start monitoring those cost structures as well and thinking of ways to minimize that to be viable as a startup long term. And then finally, key metrics. So key metrics is, once you're going, you understand this, how do you, as we said, startups are an evolving beast. So how do you keep growing? So your key metrics are your measures, your personal report card for your business that you need to keep evaluating against. So key metrics can be in all those segments that we talked to. For example, your customer key metrics. How many customers do I aim to acquire each month? How much does it cost me to acquire each customer? How long? What is the value of that customer? Is that customer a one-off transaction? Will that customer be with me for weeks or years or months? So all those key metrics, and these key metrics will differ depending on your type of startup you have, and they will also differ as you evolve as a business. But those key metrics and setting them up and measuring them will be very important, both if you have outside investors that want to measure your performance against those, and for yourself as a check and balance to make sure you're heading in the right path. So hopefully these kind of big areas, they all meld together, and I would say the first three that we mentioned, problem, solution, and customer, are your core. And then all this wraps around those three things that you have a clear understanding of, but this is a continuous cycle. So this is why having an understanding of this as a model, as a prototype, you will be continuously refining different blocks, different aspects of this model as you go along. And from that, with all that information, that's when you'll be in a position to pitch, because your pitch is like the tip of the iceberg. Underneath that tip is all this information and all this thinking that you've done. So the pitch should be the easiest process. If you've done all this homework first, your pitch should be very, very simple to deliver, and you should be able to deliver that to everyone. If you're very clear on what your problem, solution, and customers are, that is the essence of your pitch as well. And most pitching competitions, and when an investor talks to you, they'll be asking questions related to these segments that we